Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. If you remember from a previous video of mine, I replaced the coil pack, the springs, the boots, and the spark plugs in the 2014 Cruze. Well, here's the old coil pack, and here is a new set of boots and a new set of resistor springs. We are going to replace the boots and the springs because I don't think this coil is bad. Now, originally, we had a problem with number 3. And if you look at the number 3 boot, you can see a little bit of white around there. So the spark energy was leaking past the boot, and we ended up with a misfire. But I believe the boot, the spring, and the plug was my issue. So we're going to replace the boots and the springs on this coil pack, and we're going to save it for later use if I still have the car. This is the original coil pack, the original GM coil pack. I don't know that it was ever replaced. So we are going to replace these boots, springs, and we're going to save this one for later if we would need it. Okay, so here is the original coil pack. We're going to pull the boot off. That's number 4. We're going to pull the spring out. Now there's not much corrosion on that spring. Everything looks pretty good. There's the old boot. Now we're going to pull off number 3. And number 3, if you look at the tip there, there's a lot of corrosion on the tip of that resistor spring. There's also a lot of corrosion down in that hole, which is hard to see on this video, but we're going to have to clean that out. So let's move forward to pulling off number 2 and number 1. And you can see the number 1, 2, and 4 didn't have too much issue as far as corrosion. Number 3 was our issue. That's number 2. So, here's our coil pack. You can see down into the number 3 hole, there's a lot of dirt down in there. There's a lot of corrosion down in there. I'm going to take a straight pick, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to try and scrape out of that as much of that corrosion as I can. Now, you need to be kind of careful. You don't want to get too crazy when you're trying to clean this out. You just want to kind of break up the problems, and we got a little bit out of it. But we want to get that all cleaned out of there as best as we can so that we get a new connection with our new resistor spring so that we don't end up with another misfire. Now, it's a good idea to use some electronic cleaner. I'm going to blow some electronic cleaner into that hole, and then I'm going to go in with a pocket screwdriver. Again, gently, I'm going to go in with this pocket screwdriver and try and scrape out as much as I can as far as that corrosion is concerned. Okay, so I blew some of the electronic cleaner into that hole. We're going to go back in with our screwdriver. We're going to try and clean out as much as we can. And probably off camera here, as soon as I'm finished, I'm going to take it into the garage. I'm going to use a blowgun to blow out as much as I can also, to get it as clean as I possibly can so that we have a good connection. Okay, so I've cleaned this out, the connection as best as I can. There's number 4. There's number 3. Number 3 is looking pretty good. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but there's number 4. Number 3 is not looking too bad. It's not perfect, but it should work. And there's number 2. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to use a little bit of dielectric grease here. My tube has seen better days, but there's still some in there. We are going to lube the boot a little bit when we push it onto the old coil pack. And we're going to lube it where the plug would go into. So here is the new boot and spring. Open that up. There's the new boot. There's the new resistor spring. Now, before we get too far into this job, what I would like to do is take the old boots and old resistor springs. I'm going to throw them in this box, and I'm going to put them directly into the trash can. That way, I'm not using any of the old boots or any of the old springs, and things don't get mixed up. So straight to the trash is where this box is going, and goodbye. Now here is the NGK instruction pack. They do recommend using dielectric grease. So I'm going to use a little bit of dielectric grease on the end of the boot where it pushes onto the old coil, and I'm going to put a little bit on the end where it pushes onto the plug. You don't want to use too much dielectric grease because that'll end up causing you problems. So we've got everything open. There's one of our new resistor springs. Now the resistor spring is going to go into the coil pack like so. Going to put them all in. You could do this one by one. There's no real order that this has to be done in. So we have our resistor springs installed. What we're going to do is we're going to take our boot and we are going to lube that a little bit around that edge so that it pushes on nice. Got a little bit of dielectric grease on there. Not a whole lot. You don't need a ton of it. Just a little bit to make it push on nice and easy and give it a little bit of insulation. So we're going to take the boot. We're going to push it onto our old coil. Should go pretty easily. Going to put that spring back in. It fell out. Push that boot on for number 3. Number 2. And number 1. The dielectric grease just helps it to push on easier. Plus it insulates it and helps to keep the voltage inside the boot rather than leaking out. So everything looks pretty good. This coil pack should be ready to use. I'm not going to put it in the car and test it. I'm just going to assume that it's going to work. I think I've taken care of the problems and I think I'm pretty good. So what I'm going to do with this coil pack is I'm going to put it back in the box. I'm going to put it into storage in my garage. But before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of dielectric grease on the tips of these boots. So when I do need to use it, it's ready to go and I can just put it right into the car. For now, put it back in the box, close it up, and I'm going to store it if I would ever need to use it again. Because again, like I said, I don't think the coil pack is bad. So it's a pretty easy job. Probably didn't need to make this video, but if the video helped you and you learned something or you liked it, please like and subscribe. Please leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. I try to answer all the comments that you guys leave me. And hey, have a good weekend.